Hey everybody, we are checking out 6-7 here today. Um, Sorry I couldn't be there in class to go over it with you, but we're going to look through 6-7, check out the questions and answers here, see what's important to highlight and underline, things that we have to know for quizzes and tests and all that good stuff. So let's take a look at number one here. Explain the changes that occurred in home societies as a result of migrations. I would circle, highlight this one. This is good to know for our quizzes and tests coming up. Um, we see some shifts in demographics and gender roles because of migration. So this can change women, kind of their role if they're staying and working inside of the home, outside of the home, taking on more responsibility, that sort of thing. If husband, dad left to find work, for example. Um, Men who went over, like to America, for example, to find work, they might send money back home. That was called remittance. They might send that money back home to help the family. So we see some changes in demographics and gender roles a little bit here. Going down to number two, ethnic enclave. This is kind of a cluster in a community or a neighborhood where you would get Irish people living, for example. You might get Polish people living, Chinese people living. So these are neighborhoods of people from one place, and they decide to kind of start a neighborhood. They live all in the same area close by. They're speaking the same languages. They're eating the same foods. They want to kind of pursue a life that's very similar to what they had back home. Um, they kind of left their cultural stamp too. You would have an area of a town that is more Chinese, or you have an area that's more Japanese. And sometimes we see that today still in cities within the United States. So that's kind of what we're looking at with number two there, ethnic enclave. I would circle number three, Mohandas Gandhi. That's a vocab word, something that we're going to see on our Quizlet vocab list. So the thing we got to know about Gandhi, he made a name for himself in India, but actually before that, he was in South Africa. He was a lawyer. He practiced law in South Africa up until about World War One. He worked on behalf of Indians in South Africa. Remember, there's a lot of Indians who went to South Africa to work. He worked on behalf of those Indians in South Africa with discrimination cases. Um, he wanted to expose bad things that were done to Indians, how they were maybe taken advantage of, and so Gandhi worked on those folks' behalf. He really believed in nonviolence, non-cooperation. I wish we had more time to study Gandhi, but he really believed in nonviolence. Fight back, but not with violence. That's kind of what Mohandas Gandhi believed in. Going down to number four, effects of the sizable population of Indian immigrants in the Caribbean. Um, so these Indian immigrants, they're kind of mixing with other immigrants from other parts of the world down in the Caribbean. And because of this, you had a unique blend of music, food, certain holidays, festival, very unique blending of cultures in the Caribbean there. So that's number four. Number five, that is one I would circle about the Irish coming to the United States. What's the reaction to that? And a lot of times it was a negative reaction to the Irish coming to the States. You had a lot of anti immigrant feelings. A lot of these Irish were Catholic, and that drove some anti Catholic feelings in the United States. And the Irish coming to the United States, there were a lot of hardships for these folks. Coming to a new place, a new country, trying to find a way, make money. And then you had people who didn't want them there. So very tough for the early Irish coming to America. Number six, country besides the United States that many Italians immigrated to, that is going to be Argentina. So a lot of Italians went down to Argentina. Take a look down here, number seven, last question. Identify evidence of prejudice and discrimination towards immigrants. I think I mentioned the other day in class about how California amended their constitution and put into their constitution different things that really targeted the Chinese. So you had laws that were being passed in America in different states that were targeting different groups. Australia, you had the White Australia policy that was adopted, where they wanted to basically preserve White Australia. A lot of different places, you had anti-Chinese leagues develop, basically groups of people who were trying to keep Chinese folks out of their areas. Um, so a lot of different places around the world, whether it's California, Australia, you name it, they are kind of targeting immigration and trying to keep different groups of people out. Well, I hope that takes care of 6, 7 for you as the lights go out on me here. I guess that's time to shut it off, right? Um, just a reminder that we have vocab quizzes and unit quizzes coming up later in the week, and we have a test next week on all of this. Let me know if you have a question. Don't be afraid to shoot me an email or pop in and see me.